This is Soph,
This is Rich
and we are from
from
across
across
the
the
pond.
pond. Are
Hey, girlfriend.
you laughing at my hair because I haven't done it today?
I had to throw my hair up because it's been a mess, so I haven't really got it done.
Do you know what? I just figured, hey, it's been a week and Sunday is meant to be a day of rest, right? So I thought, do you know what? I'm not even going to run the straighteners through it. This is going to be au naturala. I'm
It
just
looks
gonna
good.
I'm
Stop
just
it.
gonna whap the blow dryer through it, and then here it is. So here's my Sunday
I'll tell
hair.
you right now, we are our worst critics. I tell you right now, because your hair looks fine to me.
Well, your
Now,
hair looks fine to me.
I wouldn't notice it if you wouldn't have pulled it apart. It looked fine.
Oh,
The same with the cheek thing. How's your
oh,
cheek?
it's still there. I
Still
read it.
there?
It's not as bad. Well, the fatness is still there, but the pain ain't as bad. They said it takes 10 to 14 days for an ulcer to totally go. So I can touch it with my tongue now and it don't hurt as much. But wounder.
All
Anyway,
right. It is.
how was your weekend?
My weekend was enjoyable. I got away, got some R&R, which is rest and relaxation.
Did you go anywhere nice? Barbados, Seychelles,
I
Maldives?
wish. I wish. Sand in between my toes.
You went to sand in between your toes.
Yeah.
Where's that?
New Jersey.
Oh, New Jersey. How far is that from where you live?
It's about 3 hours.
A drive, 3 hour drive?
Yeah.
Whoa, you went on a road trip.
Yeah, I went on what you would call a holiday.
Well, I hope the music was loud and you were singing proud. That's all I'm going
Oh,
to say.
hey, check this out. My vocals is dope in the car.
Listen, I'm telling you, there's two things you need if you go on a road trip / long drive. Good music and snacks.
I can't. You know what? That's one thing I can't do. I can't do snacks.
Why?
It makes me have to pull over and use the bathroom.
Oh, well, that's a given. You can stop for the loo. I was going to say, well, we can't ever go on a road trip if there's no snacks. We don't mind toilet breaks. It's all gravy in the Navy.
Yeah, yeah. But I like to get where I gotta go. I'm Ricky Bobby. I gotta get where I gotta go.
So you went away and had yourself a fabulous time.
Yes.
Nice.
How about you? How about you?
Went over to visit. I visited my father.
Father. Father.
Yeah. Father Stan, yeah. That was all good. I mean, we haven't seen each other for what I would say we haven't seen each other for a couple of years. We have, but it was to go to my uncle's funeral. So you can't really include that, I don't think, because it wasn't like it was a social get together or anything like that.
No, you can't include that. I'm gonna be honest with you. You can't include that.
Nah. So yeah,
That was
really
kind of like a drive-by.
yeah.
You're talking about quality time with pops.
Yeah, so realistically you're talking a good couple of years. But yeah, then so we went there, then came back today, Sunday, and today is the football Euro final at 8 o'clock. So I can't tell you who's won the competition overall and who the champions are because it ain't happened yet.
Ain't up yet. I, I
But
wish
there
I.
have been some damn good games, I'm telling you. Like Italy have been on fire, leading up to the semi-final. I love it when
Asked this question before. I think I asked this question before. Do y'all wear jerseys?
football shirts, yeah. Um, I love it when I love it when it goes to penalties. So basically, they have 45 minutes each half, and then if it's a draw, they play extra time, which is an extra 30 minutes, 15 minutes, then a break, 15 minutes, and then if still it's at a draw, they have penalty shootout. So the goalkeeper stands in the thing, and then five people from the opposite team try and score a goal, and then the same thing, like they take it in turns, one, then one, then one. I love that.
So pretty much triple overtime.
Yeah, if that's what you want to say it. But that's the long way round of saying it. Penalties is much easier.
Triple overtime, people.
All
We have
right, so that's our weekends in a nutshell. So, serious Sunday, and people might think it is a bit of a morbid subject, but it is necessary. We're actually going to talk about wills.
Yes.
And we don't mean wills as in Prince William, the Prince of England. We mean wills as in when you got to write a will so that everyone knows where your thing's going. The main reason for that is because in the news this week, Liz Hurley, you know Liz Hurley, right?
Oh, I know Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, she had a child with this billionaire guy. They weren't married or anything. They just dated. She had a child, one son. He's now like late teens, early 20s, I think. Anyway, this man procreated with a number of different women by the sounds of it. So he had a number of children by a number of different women. He left his estate and his money. He's passed away. I don't know why, but obviously, I don't know. I don't know why, but anyway, he passed away. In his will, he left his money shared out equally over his children, which I think is the correct thing to do. His dad, so which is why I don't know why he passed away, because he's obviously quite young if his father's still here. His dad contested the will, saying that the child he had, the son he had with Liz Hurley, was out of wedlock. They were never married, so therefore that son is not entitled to any of the money. And the courts have upheld that and said that the boy is going to get no money.
Well, my thing is, all the other kids, is he the only one?
Yeah, he's got 4 kids by 4 women. He's the only one that the man wasn't married to the mum. He got married and divorced, or married and stayed with the other 3. I'm not saying there is 4. I'm just using that as a number before anyone says you got your figures wrong. Oh no, Rich has froze. Oh my God, this is serious. Serious. Oh, hold on, you're back. You're back. Oh, you froze there for a minute. You left me hanging on my own on a serious Sunday.
Huh? You there?
Yeah. This is meant to be serious Sunday. Come on.
You froze like this.
You froze like this.
But yeah. I'm saying, how can a will? I don't see how someone can contest someone else's will. Do you know unless he was the power of attorney. I guess they left him power of attorney.
But even if he is, somebody's last will and testament is what they want to do with that's their last wish before they go, right?
Yes, so I don't know how
it doesn't matter if the only way I could think that you would get it overturned is if you could prove that the person wasn't of sound mind when they wrote and signed it, you know?
Yeah, well, do you have a will?
Yeah, but that's only because I think I was like 27 when I got my first house. And the mortgage advisor said to me, oh, you need a will? And I was like, well, I'm 27. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. What do I need a will for? And he was like, well, you have property now. I know it sounds morbid, but you have property now, so you have to have a will. So basically, if anything does happen to you, because my understanding is if you don't have a will, the government then take control of your finances or any estate or property that you have. And
I have a living will.
A living will? What's that?
Meaning, like, say if I was in the hospital and say like I was brain dead but considered still alive, then they have to honor my wishes.
Okay. Yeah, there's loads of terms and conditions and stuff that you can have in there. Like, I do think, how can I say this without getting literally bombarded? This is just my opinion. I do think that it's sad sometimes. People get greedy and this is when families start feuding and stuff. They don't want to take the last person's word, because let's just say, I'm going to say me and my sister as an example, even though my dad will be laughing, as an example, me and my sister. If my dad left a will and left more to me than he did my sister, I have no shadow of a doubt that she'd be dragging my backside down to that court to contest it, saying, it's not fair, you know.
Well, guess what? Your sister, just her feelings will be hurt, because
I understand that, but the fact that people can go to court, contest somebody's last wishes because it's not what they agree with, and have it turned over. For example, I don't know if she'd
I don't think they can do that here, to be honest.
Really? Well, I don't know if she'll want me mentioning it, so sorry, Mum. But my mum had a friend once when we were younger, who was very rich, right? Was married and everything. Was a male friend, but was married and everything. They used to hang out, you know, just friends. Like we said on the show, where you should have a friend of the opposite sex, whatever. Anyway, he passed away and he left her his boat. This is how much money we're talking now. He had a boat and he left it to my mum. The wife of the guy wasn't very happy about it, so she contested it. And because my mum was a single parent, she hasn't got money to pay for a solicitor to go to the court and say, do you know what, actually, no, he left it to me, so I'm going to fight. She just had to say, fine, take the damn boat. So she didn't this man's last will and testament was to leave his friend. His wife got the estate, got money, everything. One thing, a boat, he wanted to leave to my mum because they were really good friends. And the wife was like, nah, she ain't having my boat, and got everything.
Yeah, I don't see how they can do that. I don't know if they can do that here. I'm gonna have to look into that. I don't know if they can do that here, because like you said, that would be a problem, because how can you take away someone's last wishes?
And this is the thing, unless you've got money to pay a solicitor to fight and say, actually, they left it to me, so I'm going to fight for it because, you know, that's what they wanted. Unless you've got money to pay for a solicitor, you just have to let it go. And even if you have got money to pay a solicitor, there's no guarantee to say you're going to win. You could pay all that money for a solicitor to fight your court, and they could still say, like Liz Hurley's ex, they could still say, do you know what? Nah, we're not giving you the money. We're going to, you know.
I don't know. I have a will and I left. I'm not going to go into details about my will, but I left my stuff to my children too.
And to be fair, isn't that to me, isn't that the norm? I know that people fall out, families fall out and feud all the time. You know, like you've seen it on these films, you know, like where somebody's got 4 children and they've fallen out with one of them, so they leave them nothing just to pee them off, you know.
Oh no, I ain't doing that. I left mine, and I left everything is supposed to be liquidated. So there ain't no you get a car.
I hear that. But answer me this question then.
Everything is getting liquidated and it's
50-50?
split.
Okay, answer me this much then. You've got 2 kids, right? Yeah. This is hypothetical. So you've got 2 kids, you fall out with one and you don't speak to them at all, right? But you are tight with the other one. You see them all the time, talk, da-da-da-da. Would you change it so it was 60-40, 70-30, or still keep it 50-50?
I'll still keep it 50-50. He's still my child. Whether I fell out with him or not. You know, I'm no longer on this earth, so I'm not beefing with him anymore. To me, it's just showing that I still love him.
What if they done something that was unforgivable?
There's nothing my kids could do that would be unforgivable unless they murdered someone. If they murdered someone and there's nothing I can do about it, then, you know, that's unforgivable. But the law will take care of that. You know, like it's just one of those things with, you know, a parent, you know. I love my kids in spite of, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, like, if we fell out, which I have fallen out with my kids every other month for years, and guess what? I still love them.
Okay, so another question then. You've got your boys, and so at the moment everything's split 50-50. If you met a significant other and got married, would you change that to include her in there at some part, or still keep it 50-50?
It's my kids. It'll be my kids regardless.
So you're leaving your wife nothing.
I could be married 20 times and it'll all be left to my children.
Okay, never mind getting married 20 times. Say you got married once and you were married for 20 years, your soulmate, the one, whatever, your love of your life, you're leaving her nothing.
I don't know. I would leave her something, but majority
the shirt off your back.
I would leave her something, but majority would be for the kids. And I think, but see, when you're with someone, now see, this is the thing though. When you're with someone and you're doing a will, you got to let them know what your will is all about.
Yeah, but I'm asking you for the simple fact is, you've done your will now and you've left it 50-50 to your kids. You haven't met that person yet. So I'm saying, if say like in 5 years' time you met that person, and like, would you then look to add her or change your will, or you're just like, nah, you came in late, so you get what you're given?
No, I would still leave it to my children.
You give her a do-rag off the top of your bonnet.
I gave her my love while I was on this earth. That's what I gave her. I gave her the LOVE on this earth. And the kids, to me, the kids is more important. That's my legacy right there. I want to make sure that they're taken care of. But now I have watched a lot of, and I've took notes on a lot of things too. I made it to where they have to be a certain age.
Yeah, I think that's a standard given.
Yeah, just in case they want to try to off me. I made it to where they have to be a certain age, and they have to be, I made it to where it's difficult for them to they're just not just going to get the money.
I hear that, but you saying that you leave it just to your kids, right? There are stories where, say like you lived in the house with your wife, so obviously it's her home, but you've left everything to your kids. There are stories where them kids sell the woman out. Do you know what I mean? Like they take the home from under her feet. She's left with nothing.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I would leave her something, but majority of it would go to my children.
Okay.
I wouldn't leave her high and dry.
Come on, listen, future Mrs. Payne Senior, you've got something. Don't worry about that. He ain't gonna leave you out on the street.
I wouldn't leave her high and dry. No. Now, the shoes on your foot. What would you do? Would you leave your significant other something, or would you leave it all to Alfie?
I personally think, this is my opinion, I personally think it depends. Depends on the relationship or the other person, really, because say I am minted, right? And it's not about money when you're with someone. I'm not going to date, if I'm rich, I'm not going to date someone just because they're less fortunate than me in the purse department. Do you know what I mean? But
right.
If I meet someone, we get married, and they don't contribute towards anything, am I going to leave them my fortune? Nah. But if I meet someone and we grow together, then it's only fair, right? Because also you have to take into consideration, does that person have kids? So for example, me at the minute, it's me and Alfie, right? I meet someone, get married, they've got 2 kids. We build something together, be that a business, our home, we both pay 50-50. Why is it then fair of me to leave everything to Alfie?
Yeah. Well, see, then that's a whole nother situation. If I was with someone and we built an empire together, that would be wrong of me. But then again, that's a conversation that you're supposed to have with your significant other too. So that if, say, we built an empire and guess what, and I happen to kick the bucket, guess what? I have it in there to where she keeps the empire running, but the kids get something. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's loads of, this is the thing with these topics sometimes, there's loads of different avenues and what.
Yeah, there's different rabbit holes you can go down. Like you got a living will, you got a power of attorney, you got so much stuff that goes into wills. Then you got life insurance. And to me, life insurance is scary. I don't have a life insurance policy.
But then how do you pay? Don't you need it to pay for like hospitals and stuff?
Well, I do have one. It goes with my job. You know what I mean? My job has a little kind of life insurance type deal. You know what I mean? But I don't have one per se on me. You know what I mean? In case I were to die. I have a little nest egg in case I were to die like tomorrow. My funeral arrangements and all that will be taken care of.
See, that was my next question here. you can pay into some scheme so that basically your funeral costs are covered. So from now, say I wanted to put £10 a month into this scheme, when I cark it, there'd be like 10 grand in that scheme. That would then pay for my funeral. So the people that are left behind, i.e. my children, my family, don't have to fork out money.
You're talking about life insurance.
Yeah,
life
but
insurance.
but life insurance is also if you get ill, like if you get terminally ill, they cover you, da da da. This scheme is literally just funeral costs and that's it when you cark it. Mm-hmm. Do you agree about things like that to making sure it's covered so that no one else has to pay the price?
Yeah, now I don't want to throw my I'm talking about my pops now. My dad has already took care of all his funeral arrangements already. He's already
okay, so that's a good example then.
He's already told me that he's already got his plot picked out, everything, so that we don't have to worry about it.
Okay, this is a good example then. So your dad, love Mr. Payne, has got all his arrangements, everything that his wishes, right, that he wants. You're not an only child, so your siblings, right? Say the day comes, God forbid it isn't anytime soon, touch wood and whistle. Your dad, this day comes, he's got his wishes that he wants, and one or more of your siblings are like, nah, we don't want that, we want this. Would you?
Oh yeah, that would never happen though. That as long as I'm living, that would never happen. Guess what? Whatever he put down on that paper is what you're gonna get. Plain and simple. Now, my dad has talked about it through the years. Man, I have extended brothers and sisters, so he's always said, now I gotta add them to, the will or whatnot, or whatever the case may be. But he's always assured me that we ain't gotta worry about nothing when he passes because he's already took care of it. Like he's already took care of his plot, his burial, all that stuff is already taken care of.
See, now I'm gonna tell you a personal story. Why not? I'll chuck myself under the bus. I had an aunt who was quite well off. She passed away, I want to say 4, maybe 5 years ago. She was quite well off on her second husband, right? Who, when she was alive, I'm not going to lie, she didn't really have anything nice to say about him. I feel like she was with him for the company more than anything else, but that was my personal opinion. Anyway, when she passed away, okay, before she passed away, she'd been ill for a little while, i.e., I don't know if she had dementia or what, but she wasn't all there. Do you know what I mean? And she lived in a home for a little while up until passing away. Like she couldn't talk. She'd had a stroke and she couldn't talk. After she passed away, it turns out that all of a sudden a new will had been written after she'd had her stroke, and she'd left everything to her husband's family. My side of the family, her siblings, her godchildren, her nieces and nephews, not a single penny. Everything in this new will was left to her husband and his 2 nieces. Now,
who wrote the will?
Well, this is the thing. Supposedly a solicitor. The paperwork doesn't look particularly very.
It looks shady.
Shall we say? It looks very shady. And I've had a number of conversations with, obviously, her siblings, aunts and uncles. And one of my aunts in particular was really upset about it, and she was like, I just, A, don't believe she would have done that. B, it was written at a time where, was she actually of sound mind when she wrote that or not, But like my aunt said, no one's got money to be able to take it to court and contest it and say, look, go back to the will that she wrote before that, unless that makes some, like comparisons and just investigate this because it looks a bit dodgy. So it just had to be left to go by the wayside. Off he skips into the sunset with my aunt's money, fortune, estate, whatever.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. With wills, they change all the time. Like I've changed my will so many times because first in the military you have to have a will because You go to war, something happens to you, yada yada. You have to have a power of attorney. And I used to have a father as my power of attorney, but I've changed it because my dad is getting older now, and you know what I mean. Even though I feel like he's gonna live forever, you know what I mean. I want him to outlive me, but no, things happen, so I changed it, and then I changed it again when I got out of the military because my kids were getting older. You know what I mean? I changed it like so many times, and that's the thing about wills. They change so often, and then like the job that I have when I was traveling a lot, I had to do a will.
Okay, but do you think there should be some sort of, I want to say test, but it sounds a bit mean, but we'll say test for the purpose of the conversation. Do you think that when you write a will, you should have to do a test to prove that you are of sound mind? Take my example. If this will is dodgy and there was a test, my aunt would have had to do the test, and then it would have come back and said, she's not actually of sound mind. So therefore, we have to go by her previous wishes from when she was able to. Do you think they should do that or not?
So
because I'm sure people get forced to sign things that they don't necessarily agree with because they don't know what they're signing. Because, you know, like sometimes siblings, children, or whatever, if you're the person, your parents or whoever is having trouble, and you get greedy and you see a green light, you might just get some documents, and when they're otherwise engaged, be like, oh, can you just quickly sign this for me? And they've signed it and have no idea what they're signing for.
Yeah. Should there be a test for competency? I've never really thought about that. Should there be a test of competency when you have a will involved during your last days? Is that what you're saying? I think there should be.
And I think if
there should be, I wouldn't say a test, but there should be something that's put in place to where, like, but see, that's why you have a power of attorney.
But if they're the dodgy one, you ain't got a cat and mouse chance, have you?
You gotta make sure that your power of attorney is the right power of attorney.
I hear that, but people can turn and change, and you know, like it's a big old can of worms.
Yeah, because I have, like, me and my one sister are like this, and I know one thing about her. She can be dodgy with other people, but when they come to family, she ain't playing. So I made her my power of attorney. And I tell you right now, if I were to kick the bucket today, she ain't playing. She's going to make sure my stuff is situated right. And then at one point I had my older brother as my power of attorney because he's the oldest. And I look up to him. So I look up to him so I know that he's not gonna have my wishes go on, you know.
But not taking anything away from your brother, I'm sure he is the best. But oldest don't necessarily mean to say the sensibilist.
True. But like I said, I have wills change all the time. So I'm just throwing that out there. Wills change all the time. You know what I mean?
Okay, do you think that it should be, whether you've got property or not, right? You've got possessions. Even if you don't own a house or a car, you've got possessions, personal possessions, sentimental possessions. Do you think that at a certain point, say when you get to 20 or 25 or 30, everybody should have to write a will? Because like you say, they can change it as many times as they want to. So if when you get to 20, you just say, look, anything I own, I'm going to leave it to my mom, whatever.
I think everybody should have a will. Yeah, if that's what you're saying. Okay. Now, you know, one thing that I don't like, and I've watched this happen. That's why I know that if I were to pass away tomorrow, all my assets and everything will be liquefied. I want it all to be just straight money and split it amongst the children.
Do you have
whoever I leave my money to, whoever I leave something to?
Yeah.
If I had a house, a car, pool, estate, all that, I'm not leaving that to nobody. I want it all sold.
But let me ask you this: if you do that, well, even if you don't do that, will your children have to pay tax on that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got to pay tax on that.
And do you think that's right? Because you've paid,
I think it's right.
Hold on, let me give you my argument. You've paid, say you live till you're 80, right? Okay, let's go further than that, 90. 90 years that you've been on this planet, you've paid tax all your life, right? And you've earned that money and paid your tax. So why should your sons then have to pay tax when you've paid tax all your life already?
Well, if you think about it, once you liquefy everything, you know what I mean? Once you sell everything and liquefy it, I don't know if there's tax on it or not. I don't think there is. But if there is, that's only right. The government's going to get their little fair share.
Why? What have they done? Because you've had to pay money for your funeral. You've had to pay money to get.
That's already paid for.
But what I'm saying is, it's already paid for. But you've had to get that money to pay for it. You've had to get the money to pay for it. You've had to get the money for the legal costs, the solicitors, all that jargon to do the will in the first place. You've paid
but
tax.
I don't know if there's actual tax to your will, though.
There is here. If you get money, you've got to pay. I can't remember the actual word for it, but yeah, there is. Now, let me ask.
There's a taxation. I don't know. I will find out and have that answer for you next time. I've watched family members do each other dirty when you leave property or estate, or one person gets one thing better than the other person. And to me, I think if you don't liquefy everything, somebody's going to get the raw end of the deal.
Sorry,
say if I had an estate, say I had a house, 2 cars, motorcycle, plane, all that good jazz, okay? And I got 6 or 7 kids, all right? Now, someone's butt's going to hurt if I say, you know, my one son gets the car, my other son gets the plane.
Yeah, I totally understand.
My daughter gets this, my daughter gets that. See, if you liquefy everything and you split it, then everybody gets.
I totally understand what you're saying. I've just Googled it. It's called inheritance tax. So basically, if I leave everything to Alfie, he's got to pay tax on it. It's called inheritance because he's inheriting my stuff, which again, I don't agree with, because even you taking all your shiznit and liquidizing it, right? You're going to have to pay a fee to get that done, because someone's going to have to pay a fee to sell your house, to sell your car, So if you sell everything...
That's why you got power of attorney. They handle all that.
Okay, but there's going to be money taken out of it because you have to pay for that. Even if you're alive and you sell your house, you've got to pay tax. What I'm saying is you're going to liquidate, you're going to sell your car, your boat, your plane, your house, to then divvy the money up. You've already paid tax there. Why are your children...
Guess what? That's just the way of the world. I don't know.
I know, but you interrupted me there. You've already paid tax, so why are your children going to have to pay inheritance tax just to get the money?
Well, the thing about it is, that's the way the world works.
They shouldn't. The government is greedy. The government is greedy. I look at it
like this. Once they pay the tax off, whatever is left, they're going to split it anyway.
I get that, but you're not really getting where I come from. Let's just say you left after you've liquidized all your stuff. Wait, I've got to do this as an example. You're left with $100,000. That's $50,000 each to your sons. Now, if they say, oh, you can have that $50,000, but it's going to cost you $10,000 each in inheritance tax. Why is that fair to them? You, as the person who've left it to them, have paid tax all your life. And you're saying, I've worked hard for my money, for the life I want to leave to, for my children. And the government are saying, well, in order for them to have that, they need to pay us money. For what?
Well, to me, I would do it this way. And now that you said there's an inheritance tax, this is what I'm going to do. Is that once it all gets liquefied, take that tax out first, and then whatever's left, the kids get.
I get what you're saying, but that's money I still don't agree should be paid if you've paid tax all your life. Now,
okay, so what you mean to tell me, okay, you die abruptly, you still have to pay taxes. Someone still has to handle your affairs.
I get that, but then I don't agree with that. Once the wages of the people, like the solicitor handling my affairs, has been paid, I don't agree that my son will have to then pay more tax to get what I've left him. I don't agree with that.
How is he paying more tax?
Because there's a thing called inheritance tax. He can't have what I've left him unless he pays it.
Exactly. And all that is leftover taxes from before you died.
No, you're missing the point. We're going to go around in circles. So let's go to the other part, right? What do you think about those people who leave everything to their pets?
Foolish. I think they cuckoo birds.
Yeah, people's like, I've left it all to my dog or I've left it all to my cat. I don't get that. Like, I understand if they've got no family or they're in contact with no family and they've got no friends, leave it to a charity or somebody. Why are you going to leave it to a dog?
To a dog? And that's what gets me. Like, don't get me wrong. I love my dog. Okay. I love him to death. But am I going to leave him something if I die? No, I'll leave him his dog toys. That's what he going to get. He going to leave all his treats and stuff that I couldn't give him after I died. Other than that,
I find that really
even my pet nothing. I got fish too. So what are my dog and my fish going to fight over my inheritance?
I've heard stranger stories, you know.
I think that's foolish. But people do it though.
I know they do. And this is the thing. Eventually the government, I'm sure the government just get the money. Because say I said, right, I'm going to leave everything to my dog. When my dog carks it, what happens to the money then? Obviously, it goes back into the system, into the government, right?
I'm going to say yes, because I don't know. I'm going to say...
Well, your dog can't say, oh, leave it to my pups, you know.
You know what? But then I just watched this cartoon, I can't think of it, where in order for them to have... They left the inheritance to the pet. Right, but in order for them to get the money, they had to take care of that pet.
Oh, was you watching Aristocats? That's what that happens in there. Have you seen Disney's Aristocats? There's a French lady, and she's got a cat. Oh God, I can't remember her name. And she has got 3 kittens. And the butler overhears her saying to the solicitor, "Oh, I'm leaving everything to my cats." So he goes berserk, gives the cats something to put them to sleep, puts them in a basket and sails them off down the river, because obviously I think she's left him like power of attorney, but the cats get everything. But obviously if anything happens to the cats, then it comes to him. So he sails the cats off down the river because he's like, nah, I've looked after you and been your butler. So
I haven't watched the Aristocats in so long, but yeah, I get that concept. But would you do that?
No.
In order for for instance, if I had my dog, in order for you to have the inheritance, you had to take my dog with you. Would you do that?
Well, yeah, because that's your last dying wish. There are people that would literally get that dog and swing it around to hope something happens to it sooner rather than later. But that's what I'm saying.
But if anything were to happen to the dog of unnatural causes,
that's it. You don't get the money. Well, you have. That's your wish, ain't it? You have to do it. It's like when I said to you about people disagreeing. Like, there's me and my sister. God forbid, not anytime soon, touch wood and whistle, anything happens to my mum or dad. If let's just say my dad said, I want 80% to go to my sister and 20% to come to me, even if I didn't agree with it in my heart, I'm not going to contest it. For the simple fact is, that's what he wanted. What can I say?
Yeah, but then you know what? I'm telling you, man. Deaths of family members bring out the worst in people.
I totally get that. And like I said to you, if it was the boot was on the other foot, my sister would come for my jugular. I'm telling you, she would want even my half, the whole lot. But I wouldn't. And don't get me wrong, I might be peed off. I might be upset. It might get me eggy inside, and I might not understand why he did it. But that was his wish. So who am I to say no?
Yeah,
I want.
I've seen some families when their parents pass away. I've seen some family members turn into some really evil people.
Oh yeah,
that you would be surprised. You would be surprised to see how they really act. I'm like, ugh. I'm a little nervous in my own family, like how people would act if my pops were to pass. Because my dad talks about it. He don't talk about it all the time, but he does say, like, this is what's going to happen. And everybody's going to get their little share, and that's it. That's it.
I'm not worried about it, but it has crossed my mind because I know the type of person my sister is. And even if I'm using my dad as an example, thank you, father. Even if my dad said 80% to my sister, 20% to me, I'm sure my sister would still say, actually, I want 20%, her 20%. Do you know what I mean? That's the type of person or the characteristics that she has. So I'm under no illusion that when the time comes, she's going to be wilding out, as you would say, you know.
She's going to be wilding.
And I'm just going to sit back and be like, do you know what?
I don't think my family would wild out on the whole inheritance type thing. I just feel like we should have that. We should make that a topic. How people act after they pass.
It's not even after they pass. Sometimes, you know, like family members can get seriously ill. You know, okay, I've got the pen out. I'm gonna write that. Like people's true colors coming out.
Yeah, true colors. Because I kid you not, I've been to a dozen funerals as an adult, and I really see how people act after people pass away.
Do you know what? I mean, do you know what makes me absolutely laugh at funerals, and I haven't been to too many, I've got to say, but is when somebody didn't visit that person when they were alive, barely spoke to them, and then when their funeral comes, they stand there, you know, and I'm like, please, pick yourself up.
I'm glad you wrote that down. We'll talk about that on we'll talk about that another day.
Yes.
Oh, we'll talk about that another day. Because that's one thing. That's one thing. You can't really tell people how to grieve.
No, but you can definitely tell fakers. That's for sure.
But you can really tell them, just sit down somewhere. Just,
you know what I mean?
Knock it off. But I do hear you on that. But as far as a will, so
you know what they say? No. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Do you have a will?
Yeah, I told you that when I bought my first house, they said I had to get a will.
Oh, so let me ask you a question. Have you updated it?
No, but I need to.
Now, let me ask you a question. Would you get life insurance on yourself?
Would I?
Or do you have life insurance?
Yeah, I do. I've had it since I worked for Virgin years ago. Like, it started with them. That, like you say, part of the company that you work for, we had everything: private health care, life insurance, and it just hasn't closed. You know, I'm not gonna lie, at one point a few years ago when I was in a bit of dire straits for a few pounds, I phoned him and I was like, can I close that please, and just have, you know, because they sent me a letter. I forgot about it because I didn't work there. They sent me a letter saying, this is what's in your life insurance and this is what you'd get on, you know, if you were to need it on this date. And I was like, hello, can I close it please and have that balance? And they were like, no, sorry, we got to keep it open for X amount of years because of the policy. And I was like,
fudge.
Budget. But I didn't want to say yes in case anyone's watching. They might try and do me over and get my life insurance, but it ain't a lot, so don't even bother.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, you off me, you ain't getting anything anyway. But that was a good serious Sunday.
Yeah, because it veered off to different. We didn't agree on something, which I'm glad about because I like them shows.
Well, yeah, because
and B,
the tax thing.
Yeah.
Look, let them take the tax off the top because.
And B, it's given us scope for another topic.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Ooh,
yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Now, let's just get it out there before we go. Wednesday's meeting, we're going to discuss when our next Instagram live is and when and who our next guest is, because obviously
for the
July is here now, so we need our July guest, but we don't know who they are yet. So Wednesday's meeting is going to be a long one. Clear the schedule. It's going down.
It's going down. All I can say now is, this is Soph.
This is Rich.
And we are
from across
the pond. Across the pond, Rich and Soph. Being ready to go across the pond, Rich and Soph. If you ready
All right, all right, all right. Have a lovely week, Rich.
You too.
I'm going to
see
see
you on
you
Wednesday.
on Wednesday. Yepper.
Yepper.